Or we could probably go back there and get some stuff. Well, that sorts that. Yes, it does. You're not wrong. Oh, the synthetic truth. Oh, wait, it worked. Okay. By Piper Wright. Okay. October 2287. The Synthetic Truth by Piper Wright. Noodles. We all eat them. We all love them. And Diamond City's Power Noodles has supplied the sustenance for the past 15 years. From the stilted mechanical cadence of Takahashi's programmed Japanese, to the fragrant steam that wafts from each bowl, to the scalding tang of each delicious mouthful. The ordering and eating of noodles is but one of many shared human experiences. Or is it? I was struck by this very question as I sat at the counter of Power Noodles last Wednesday night, just after 5 p.m., enjoying a dinner I had so many times before. That's when I noticed our very own Mayor McDonald, sidle up to a stool and engage in the very same ritual. Right hand extending, mouth opening, teeth chewing, yes, eating noodles. A shared experience of almost every Diamond City resident. So it must have also seen the residents of Diamond City nearly 6 years ago on an uncharacteristically warm May evening in 2229 as they sat around this very same counter. But that was before the days of Takahashi and his noodles, when the bar served hot noodles, not noodles but ice, ice-cold Nuka-Colas, frothy beers, and stiff shots of whiskey. The barman's name was Henry, and that night he facilitated the shared human experience of drinking, smoking, talking, and laughing. That is, until tragedy struck. There aren't many among us who are even old enough to remember that evening, although some of the city's ghoul residents certainly could have, had they not been forcibly removed, thanks to Mayor McDonald and anti-ghoul decree of 2282. But there's one person among us who does remember, distinctly, the events of that evening respective matriarch Eustace Hawthorne, who recounted her story in a public occurrence's exclusive interview. I was there, all right. Sitting right there at the bar. Sure as you're sitting in front of me now. 22 years old or so, and just looking to have a good time. I was safe behind the wall. We all were. So what was the harm? And let me tell you, that Mr. Carter made it easy. He came into town early that day and said was from far out west somewhere. It didn't really matter. What did matter was his smile, his laugh, and the way he'd make everyone feel at ease. That night at the bar, we all just sort of crowded around him. Everyone wanted to exchange a word or hear about the state of the Commonwealth. And Mr. Carter, he was all too happy to oblige. It was just so wonderful. Until it wasn't. Eustace considered their account of that evening and the moment when things turned sinister, and the truth about Mr. Carver was revealed. We'd been drinking, carrying on, must have been 3 hours. Mr. Carter had 4 or 5 drinks in that time. He seemed a bit drunk, I guess, like the rest of us, and then something just sort of happened. He was smiling, but the smile sort of went from his face, and in an instant, and then his cheeks started twitching. Kind of funny. I remember watching him, clear as if it happened just yesterday. He reached inside of his coat, took out a revolver, and then BLAM! He shot Henry, the barman, right in the head. Didn't hesitate. Didn't show any emotion. Mr. Carter killed Henry as casually as if he were paying him for a drink. But his cheek never did stop twitching. Let me tell you, all hell broke loose after that. What Eustace is describing is, of course, the infamous event known as the Broken Mask, when the people of the Commonwealth learned for the first time that the Institute, the shadowy scientific organization responsible for the creation of combat androids, had actually succeeded in creating a model so advanced it could effortlessly infiltrate human society. Unbeknownst to the people of Diamond City, the Institute had somehow evolved their androids into true synthetic humans. Synths. After he shot Henry, that Mr. Carter shot 3 or 4 other people too. Like I said, all hell broke loose. The guards came running. They opened fire and Mr. Carter kept shooting and throwing people from around left to right, and finally those guards put him down. It seemed like they had killed a man who had flipped his lid, gone crazy. And he lay there, like a dead crazy man, sure enough. It was horrible. But then we saw the plastic and the metal. This was one of the early synths, you see, and we realized it wasn't a man at all. It was then we all knew. The Institute wasn't just out there. The Institute was everywhere now, among us. It was never determined precisely why the synth known as Mr. Carter went on his killing spree. Some suggested he had somehow been remotely controlled by the Institute, who wanted to test this combat effectiveness. Still others felt that he simply malfunctioned. A hypothesis supported by the twitching cheek, and was never meant to kill anyone. But at that time, the why hardly seemed important. What mattered was the humans of the Commonwealth had been truly infiltrated by an organization whose intentions and motives were, and still are, a complete mystery. Using a model of synth even less advanced than the ones the Institute has in service today. Which brings us to noodles. Specifically, the noodles consumed by Mayor McDonough last Wednesday night, in the same spot that Mr. Carter the synth went haywire and mercilessly killed several people. After spending hours sharing an experience the people of Diamond City assumed was reserved for members of the human race, they were wrong. Are we? Pepperidge Farm remembers? Yes, seriously, holy crap. That was cool.